Hello everybody, and thanks for stopping by another video. And today, as you can tell, I'm kind of not in my normal habitat for a lot of my videos, as it happens to be that I'm standing in the middle of Thunder Bluff, a city that is known within World of Warcraft. It is one of my favorite towns that you can find, and I'm pretty sure you're all probably going to be wondering, why don't I have a Tauren avatar for VRChat? That is because I haven't had the money to get that done yet, and she'd probably break this platform if she came. She is that much of a trouble. But, I'll eventually get her over here at some point, because I have not really seen many Moo avatars, so that is going to be one thing I want to work on. And, it'd be pretty cool having one, because Moos are awesome. Anyways, how about we take a little tour, shall we? And now, to start our trip, I welcome you to Thunder Bluff, home of the Shuhalo who roam the plains of Mulgore. Here's where you can find their main capital. It's a very lovely rustic living situation they have. And normally their people wouldn't actually have a town like this. But after the war with the Centaur, they had chosen to build a primary city for their people. And each of the rises has their own purpose. As right now, we are hovering over the Hunter's Rise, those who work to protect, hunt, and gather for their people all gather here to work in unison with each other. You may find them there. And as we head over, the next rise we're coming to is Elder's Rise. This is where all the various Juhalo of the Druid Paths, Shamans, and those who work within Earth Mother's domain to heal and take care of her gifts. As we move on, the upper main plateau is actually home where Chieftain Bane calls home. This is where you will find the Chieftain's tent, along with a group of crafters' tents that make their home here. And then finally, we do have the Spirits Rise. This is where you would find all the various healers who look after and tend to the Shuhalo that have succumbed to injury. As well as below ground, you'll actually be able to find a Mystics area where those who dabble in the less friendly of terms or even arts tend to make up their home. If you ever find yourself down here, make sure not to poke any of the mushrooms. They have special flavors. And now I would like to welcome you to one of the Tonka's territories. This is called Ice Mist Village. It is the one standalone village within Northrend that has the most prominent presence in terms of structure and the amount of details it has. All other villages that you tend to run across tend to be on the quieter side and more look of an outpost. This one I'd usually see as much like Thunderbluff if it was fully in use. And it does even have some special caveats. For one, it has its own steam pools underneath. Something that you won't find in Thunderbluff or even in Thunder Totem. It is one village I hope that eventually we'll be able to see in the next few expansions. But right now, it is a sad city that I cannot explore without dealing with mobs. And it does have a sad tale with it too, which I hope eventually gets more updates. And now, let us head off to our other destination for the next town. And welcome to Thunder Totem. One town I usually find is one of my favorites as well amongst the Tauren people. As big as the totem stands on top of it, it is an impressive sight to see even at a long distance away. This city extends from within the actual mountain all the way up to the top of the totem. They've literally built their home into the ground. And it does reach over a few areas with outlying towns around the region. Which unfortunately, Riverbend was one place to suffer during this time, as it was destroyed by the Drogbar. Following that as well, the side of the mountain was also heavily destroyed, as they also laid waste to the village that rests on the side of the mountain within the stories. It is one sad story to follow, but it did prove how durable the high mountain are. It is one reason why I especially love the Tauren people, as they have a very strong will and overcome many obstacles in their paths to not let down their ancestors and bring honor to them. And with that, we shall head to our final destination. One that many people question if they are actually Shuhala or not. And let me welcome you now to Pandaria, where we're in front of VRChat Osul. This is one of the major homes to the Yungal, a version of the Tauren race that is prominently in a nicer climate, but they tend to be a lot heavier, shaggy fur, much like the high mountain. And the major noticeable difference on them is that they have very unique horns, much like stags. They got a rigid appearance to them. These people tend to be the most aggressive out of all the Shuhala. They've actually got weaponry, they work with oil, and they are very respectful of the element of fire, as their deity is literally made of fire. If you ever run into one of these guys, hopefully it's a nice talk. Otherwise, yeah, it'll be an interesting conversation. There are good ones amongst them. They are not all bad. There's just a good chunk of them that seek to harm others in their quest for dominance. How about we get back to Thunderbluff, where I was standing? Hey, you all actually made it back just fine. That's awesome to see. So, I hope you guys actually enjoyed seeing the various main cities of all the different Shuhala races. Right now, there is 4 in total, and they all have their unique characteristics in them. When it comes to the Baron Tauren, the Tauren from the Kalimdor, they do have their major city Thunderbluff, and they do camp around the area when it comes to where the villages are laid out. You got some in the Barrens, both north and south. Then you've got ones over in Stone Talon Pass, which is where a good chunk of them usually come from. There used to be some in Desolus, but because of the region's state back in the day, it was not very hospitable. But if you keep going south and get into Feralis, that is where you can find more Tauren settlements again. A lot of those can easily be Grim Totem. That can be the same for when it goes to Thousand Needles, which unfortunately suffered a catastrophe when Deathwing awoke. He opened up a flood that literally drowned everything that was on the ground level of that region. If not a good swim, yeah, you're kind of in a bad spot. And then Duskwalla Marsh is also another location where you can find Tauren tribes. Those tend to be Grim Totem as well. Is what Grim Totems are compared to other Taurens. They tend to be the less friendly of the two. And they tend to try and prove their strength as a way to form of dominance. Doesn't always work the time, but they always love showing off their strength more than anything. As the leader Magatha Grim Totem tried to lead them, eventually they overthrew her and she no longer leads most of the Grim Totem. They have actually turned against her. There's a lot of interesting story when it comes to that, because even there's eventually one time when they betray her and she's left as a prisoner. Now, as we go on, the next one is the Tonka. They are known for living in one of the coldest regions, which is Northrend. Their shaggy fur and their customs reflect that. And especially with Ice Mist Village being still under attack in this current state of the game, I'm hoping that changes when the next expansion would be released. Because there is one going to be focusing on returning to Northrend, as we'll to be delving deeper underground. Because there are old ruins that everything is built upon in that region. It was very pointed out from the ICC expansion. From the tournament grounds was built on top of a pit that opened up, and then Ice Mist Village actually is on top of another city of the Nerubians. That is what majorly became their major problem, is when the Nerubians came out. And, you know, when they're at your door without any hesitation, yeah, that can be a problem. And then next we've got the High Mountain. Those are the other ones that I really love. Between their antlers for horns and the general vibes of being a mountainous race where rough terrain has developed them. They've also embodied the farming aspect of life, and then also general, they have their fishing habits. They have Shuhalo that are known for riding eagles. That is the Skyhorn. As well to note, the other tribes there are the Blood Totems, which are similar characteristics if you were to compare them to the Grim Totems. Next after that, you have the Rivermane, which they are known for their gatherings of fishing and then also their crops. Because when it comes to a lot of Shuhalos, they tend to not be farmers. They actually focus more on harvesting the terrain and keep moving their cycle around to help keep from over farming different areas, as the Kalandor Shuhalo are known to be nomadic. So their camp may be in one place at one point, and then they'll move on to another point. Case in point, one guild that I'm actually a part of actually does that. They will move from place to place. And they do have a winter home. A lot of cool story around that. That's one reason why I fell in love with doing RP for Tauren. Now, the last one is the Yongle. And as I said, they are known for being a fairly shaggy race, much like the Tonka, and they do have their unique horns. I would compare them to what you'd see on a elk from the Sahara. They have those rigid appearance to their horns as they grow. And the major things is, much like the Grim Totem and the Blood Totem, they are known for showing their strength. You ever meet one, they may want to fight because they want to prove their strength to you. Now, there's definitely a lot of different Shuhala races out there, and there's many lore and mysteries that are still quite not answered, as some speculations that I've read sound like they may come from the Yongle as they moved up north. So Kalimdor Tauren would be in the next race before you would gotten to High Mountain or even Northrend. It's quite a lot of interesting things, and there's even the stuff about the Earth Mother that has never actually been focused on or spoken about other than myths that Blizzard had released. And all they are just myths. There's no proof that anything about the Earth Mother actually lives. Because in lore for the Tauren, she gave her eyes to her people, Anshe for the sun to help grow plants, and to tell when they should be awake. And then you've got Musha, the moon that brings peace and rest to all their people. There's a lot of spiritual significance in this, and it's one of the things that make them amazing, is in terms of a lot of their stories are passed down verbally. So it's a lot of myths, tales, things that are passed on from elders to the young to help teach lessons for the young to carry on to their next kin. There's just such a depth in culture that they carry compared to other races. It's like living by a campfire and only telling tales of stories that may or may not be true. You may never know. But we know for a fact that Tauren are noble and kind, and they do not really lie all that often, because it's usually not fitting for the Earth Mother, as most believe that when they pass on, they'll enter the Earth Mother's plains, which is where they can hunt for the rest of time. But even that was not really ever explained, especially when Shadowlands came out. There's proof that there's a lot of different planes out there, but never one for the Earth Mother. And which is sad, because I always love trying to find out the lore for the Shuhalo. They are my main focus. I also do have a liking to the Drakthir, because I get to be a dragon finally. Sort of. Well, and the Tauren race are the ones that brought me to be able to, create the character Naruma, which is who is my main Tauren. Because, you know, this lady right here is quite interesting, you know? Yeah, that's who I eventually do need to get an avatar for. Because I gotta represent the Tauren people in this place. You know? But I guess that should be it for my rambling. This one video is probably gonna be my longest out of every one of them. So it's a lot of random rambling. I thank you for if you stuck it out this long. If not, still, thank you for checking it out, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Keep being awesome out there, and let's keep making this world awesome. Take care.